Hi, my name is Simon Raj. My united number is 267623. Today I would like to talk about the Fjiri. Fjiri is a musical performance that commemorates the history of pearl diving in Bahrain. Dating back to the late 19th century, it was traditionally performed by pearl divers and pearling crews to express the hardships faced at sea. The performers sit in a circle, sing and playing different types of drums, finger chimes, and a jahi, a clay pot used as an instrument. The center of the circle is occupied by the dancers and the lead singers, who is charged of conducting the performance. Fijri originated on the island of Mura, where up until the mid 20th century most of the population formed part of the Perling community. However, today the practices has reached a wider audience through performance in festivals according all region of Bahrain. It is now well known across the country and is viewed as a means of expressing the connection between the Bahrainian people and the sea. Fijri is usually performed in cultural spaces called durs by descendants of pearl divers and pearling crews and by the other individuals. The transmission process usually entails consistent practicing indoors and performing for audiences. Now I will explain about the domain of Fijri. Domain of Fijri consists of five elements. They are performing arts, oral tradition and expression, social practices, traditional craftsmanship, and knowledge and practices. Their oral traditions and expressions domains encompasses an enormous variety of spoken forms including proverbs, riddles, tales, nursery rhythms, legends, mythics, epic songs and poems, charms, prayers, chants, songs, dramatic performance and more. Oral traditions and expressions are used to pass on knowledge, cultural and social values, and collective memory. They play a crucial part in keeping culture alive according to Fijri concepts. Performing art range from vocal and instrumental music, dance and theatre to pantomime, sung verse and beyond. They included numerous cultural expressions that reflect human creativity and they are also for some extent in many other intangible cultural heritage domains in Fiji. Social practices, rituals, and festive events are habitual activities that structure the lives of communities and groups that are shared by and relevant to many of their members. They are significant because they are reaffirm the identity of those who practices them as a group or a society and whether performed in public or private are closely linked to important events. Social rituals and festive practices may help to mark the passing of the season. Knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe include knowledge, know how, skills, practices, and representations developed by communities by interacting with the natural environment. These ways of thinking about the universe are expressed through language or a tradition, feelings of attachment towards a place, memories, spiritual, and worldview. Traditional craftsmanship is perhaps the most tangible manifestation of intangible cultural heritage. However, the 2003 convention is mainly concerned with the skills and knowledge involved in craftsmanship rather than the craft product themselves. Rather than focusing on preserving craft objects, safeguarding attempts should instead concentrate on encouraging artisans to continue to produce craft and to pass their skills and knowledge on to others, particularly when their own communities. Now we are moving to the concepts. Concepts consist of three. The first one is our living heritage. The next one is the evolution. At first, the affirmation of the Western rooted idea of cultural heritage consists as embodied in the material products of arts and architecture, prevented the immaterial portion of a culture from emerging as an interest belonging to international law. This notwithstanding, Since the early 1970s, part of the international community has been aware that the scope and the meaning of the culture go beyond its merely tangible product, and that appropriate safeguarding is to be devoted to its spiritual side. As the early in 1972, during the negotiation leading to the adoption of the World Heritage Convention, a number of state representatives shared the idea that the scope of that conversation was too narrow. In 1960, an influential thinker of the 20th century wrote that culture cannot be upgraded to its tangible products because it is considered continuously living and evolving. He actually caught the essence of cultural heritage, which is composed not only of tangible properties but also and especially of the essence elements representing the living culture of the human communities, their evolution and their continuing development. Therefore, it includes all intermaterial elements that are considered by a given community as essential components. The third one is a critical assessment. It consists of oral traditions and expressions, including language as a vehicle of the intangible cultural heritage, performing arts, social practices, rituals, and festive events, knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe, traditional craftsmanship on the conditions that they are compatible with existing international human rights instruments as well as with the requirements of mutual respect among communities, groups and individuals of sustainable development. In my opinion, to keep alive intangible cultural heritage must be relevant to its community, continuously created and transmitted from one generation to another. There is a risk that certain elements of intangible cultural heritage could die out or disappear without the help, but safeguarding doesn't mean fixing or freezing intangible cultural heritage in some pure or primordial form. Safeguarding intangible cultural heritage is about the transferring of knowledge, skills, and meaning. I hope all the society that has mentioned, the community that has mentioned, had helped them transmit or communicating heritage from generation to generation is emphasized in the conversion rather than the production of concrete manifestations such as dance, songs, musical instruments, or craft. Therefore, to a large extent, any safeguarding measures refers to strengthening and reinforcing the diverse and varied circumference, tangible and intangible, that are necessary for the continuous evolution and interpretation of intangible cultural heritage as well as for its transmission to future generations. Thank you.